Both my husband and I work in the office, and we both have pie day competitions coming up. So I'm gonna show you the pie that I'm gonna make that's going to win because it's delicious and it tastes like a Reese cup. I'm gonna give you the ingredients as it comes in the recipe, but I'm going to double all of mine because I need to make 2 pies. First up, you're going to need Oreos. This is gonna be our crust. It's super easy. You need Oreos and butter. You wanna put your Oreos in the blender and blend them. If you don't have a blender, you can put them in a gallon Ziploc bag, close the bag, and beat it with whatever you have. I usually use a rolling pin. 25 Oreos going in the mixer. Now you're gonna add 4 ounces of melted butter to your Oreo crust. Pro tip on the butter, if you put the whole stick of butter in here and microwave it, it's not going to melt evenly or as quickly, and it's going to explode in your microwave. At least if you have my microwave, that's what apparently happens. So cut your butter into smaller pieces first, and you'll have no issues microwaving it. Next, I have my pie tin, and you are just going to take your Oreo crumbs and put it right into the pie tin, and then you're going to take your hand and just push it down until it's spread all over the bottom and up the sides. I have my 2 crusts here. They are ready to go into the oven, and they're going to bake at 350 for about 5 to 7 minutes. The original recipe calls for an 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip, and if you like Cool Whip, that is perfectly acceptable to use. I think that homemade whipped cream tastes much better and it has way less chemicals in it, so we're going to use that today. And you buy heavy whipping cream, you pour it in your bowl, and you whip it, and that's it. For this recipe, you would need 1.5 to 2 cups to get your 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip. I'm going to use 4 cups because I'm making 2 pies. We are going to remove this because we need to use this bowl. So we're going to get another bowl and just put this in here for a later step. Okay. I did not clean this bowl out fully because I am short on time, and I don't really think it matters. So to this bowl, we're gonna add 1 cup of peanut butter, and you're gonna add 1 stick of softened cream cheese. Softened just means that it has sat out at room temperature enough to not be a giant hard block like it is when you take it out of the fridge. I don't have the time for that today, so I took it out and microwaved it for a minute. It's not ideal because it's not going to soften equally. The outside's going to be almost melted and the middle's still going to be a little cold, but it's better than it being a big solid block that I'm trying to mix in this mixer. You are now going to add 1 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. And finally, you are going to add your homemade whipped cream or your 8-ounce tub of Cool Whip. If you're adding your own homemade whipped cream, you want to add about 3 cups. Now you want to do your final mix. So when you are done mixing, your batter should be this light and fluffy mousse texture we have going on here. Your pie crust should be out of the oven at this point. They are still hot. Do not put them in your pie crust if the pie crust is still hot, because all of this will just melt. So now that your pie shells have totally cooled off, you're just going to take your filling and you are going to put it right in the pie and then smooth it out. So here is your completed pie, which looks delicious, but we're going to level it up a little bit. We are going to make chocolate ganache and put it on the top, and we're going to make extra whipped cream that we're going to stabilize so that we can decorate it and it will still look nice tomorrow. To make your chocolate ganache to put on top, you need equal parts of heavy cream and chocolate. I'm going to start with 1 cup. You are going to pour your heavy cream into a saucepan and then put the saucepan over low just until you see bubbles forming around the edges. That means that it's warm. You do not want to get it hot because you're just going to scald the chocolate and then it's not going to make that nice glossy ganache. So I have the Trader Joe's Pound Plus bar that I'm going to use. You could use whatever kind of chocolate you want, doesn't matter. Because I used 1 cup of heavy cream, I'm going to use 8 ounces of chocolate. Once your heavy cream gets warm, you're going to take it off of the heat, put your chocolate in, and let it sit until all the chocolate is melted. So in order to have the chocolate actually melt before the heavy cream gets cold, you're going to want to cut it as small as you can. Now I just took this off the stove. It is warm and not hot, and I'm going to add my chocolate into it and just let it sit until the chocolate is melted. If your chocolate is not melting, you can give it a little help by giving it a stir. While our ganache is cooling down to put on our pie, we're gonna go ahead and make our stabilized whipped cream. Stabilized whipped cream can stay out for longer and not melt because it is stabilized with gelatin. This is the gelatin that I use. It's in the Jell-O aisle at the store. It's just unflavored, comes in little packs like this. Start out by putting 1 teaspoon of the gelatin in 4 teaspoons of cold water. And all you do is let that sit like that until it becomes kind of hard and dissolved, about 3 to 4 minutes. While we're doing that, we're gonna take 1 cup of cold heavy whipping cream, put it in our mixer, and we're gonna start mixing. Then we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar as it's mixing so that it gets light and fluffy. So I have mixed this until soft peaks form, and how you know it's a soft peak versus a stiff peak. A soft peak, you'll see it kind of folds over. When I pick it up, it doesn't, kind of like drips a little bit. That's a soft peak, but it's still sturdy enough to hold together. A stiff peak is when you pick it up, it stays in whatever shape it is. So we're not there yet, but that's what we want. So we have our gelatin. You see it's not quite solidified yet, but enough. So now we're gonna put this in the microwave for a few seconds, like 5 seconds, until all of this has melted and dissolved, and then you're gonna stir it to make sure that it's all combined. So this is all melted now and liquid. So you're gonna start mixing again, and then as it's mixing, you're going to slowly pour your gelatin into your whipping cream. So now we have the consistency that we want, which is stiff peaks. So I'm just gonna take some of this. See how it doesn't really move? It's stiff, it's thick. That's what we want. If you want to go really simple, you just get your spatula or a spoon and you can just spread it right on top of your pie, and that's absolutely great. I have a piping bag here that I put a star tip on the end of, and I'm gonna pipe it onto the pie. If you don't have this, you could use a Ziploc bag and just cut a little hole in one of the corners, and that'll work also. So when I'm filling this, a little tip, fold the corners so that when you're filling it, it doesn't go all the way to the top and it doesn't come out of the bag. And then once you've filled it, you can squeeze out all of the air so that you don't have any air pockets down at the bottom. I usually put mine over the bowl so I can catch anything and then refill it if I have to. Once your chocolate ganache has cooled off, you're gonna pour it over and spread it out. This is an offset spatula, but if you don't have one, you can use a regular spatula or a knife. Now, you're gonna take your whipped cream. I'm gonna pipe stuff around the edges. This looks great as it is, but I had some leftover Reese's in my cabinet, so I cut them up into little pieces and we're just gonna throw them right on top. And because we're all a little extra, I'm gonna take an extra piece of the chocolate that we used for the ganache, and I'm gonna take my zester and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top to make it a little extra nice. So there you have it, a gorgeous peanut butter chocolate Reese pie that is going to win your Pie Day competition. Happy Pie Day, and follow me for more Homestead Shifts.